Hello, in this video we're going to be going over all the problems that are in the graphic organizer. So first we're going to start with the multiplying fractions tab and then move to the multiplying decimals. So let's begin. Looking at the first page on multiplying fractions tab, we have 3/4 times 2 over 7. To do this, you are going to be multiplying across. So numerators multiply together, top and bottom. So 3 times 2 is going to be 6. 4 times 7, 28. Now if it ends in an even number, such as 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0, if it ends in anything like that, so if I give you 2, 4, 3, 6, the fact that it ended in a 6, we're reviewing that this is an even number. The reason why that's important is that if it ends in a 6, or an 8, or a 4, or a 2, any of these numbers, then it is an even number. So that means that you can divide by 2 and reduce. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 28 14 times. This is not an even number. 14 is, but since they're not both even numbers, you know you cannot simplify it. So 3 over 14 is your answer. Let's go to the second one on the first page. Now, what we're looking at is basically you need to know that this symbol is the same as if I were to put two parentheses. They both mean multiplication. And over here, if I only put one but I have a number on the outside, still means multiplication. So after you do all the work, you're still going to multiply across. This will be 6 over 28, and you will reduce to 3 over 14. Same over here, 6 over 28, 3 over 14 after you multiply across and work this out. Okay, let's go to page 2. Pause the video if you need a copy. Page 2. Alright, so we have the same kind of problem, multiplying fractions. This whole tab will be the same. Now on this, you have to realize that, let's say the negative was on the outside, like this. Well, I can take this negative and assign it to either the top or bottom. So I'm going to put it on the top. So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. 4 times 8, 32. Notice that it ends in the 2 and 6, which is our even numbers. So if we don't know what to put in there, we can always divide by 2 when we see even numbers. This goes in negative 3 times. This one here goes in 16 times. Anything that goes into both? Nope. So negative 3 over 16 is our answer for that one. Go to the next one. Now here, you have to look at the signs. So remember a negative and a negative. What is a negative times a negative? That would be a positive. What is 2 times 3? 6. What is 4 times 8? 32. Notice that we end in a 6 and 2, so what can we divide by? Think about it. That's right, we could divide by a 2. So we're going to divide by a 2 here. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 32 16 times. So we have two answers that are similar. We have 3 over 16 on this one, and we have negative 3 over 16 on that one. So the difference is in the sign. So you have to make sure that when you're multiplying across, you pay attention to the sign. Here we only had a negative and a positive, which is why we got a negative. Here we had a negative times negative, which is why we got a positive. Pause the video if you need a copy. Let's go on to page 3. Okay, page 3. Pause the video here, and I want you to try this one, see if you understand what we're doing. You are still going to multiply across. So once you are ready to check your answer, press play again. So please pause here, try it out, and then press play. Okay, hopefully you tried this out. So now we're going to multiply across. What is a negative times a negative? Positive. Notice I do the sign first. So I'd say, what is a negative times a negative? And that is how I got the positive. Now what is 2 times 3? And then after that, we're going to say what is 4 times 8? And the negative times positive. So try to color code it for you there. So we're going to have the answer here. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6. This was a negative times a positive is a negative. And what is 4 times 8? 32. Ends in a 6 and a 2. Are they even numbers? Yes. So we can divide by, what do you think? If they're even, we can divide by 2. So we can reduce it. 2 goes into 6 how many times? 3. 2 goes into 32 how many times? 16. Okay. And highlight your answer and copy this down. Next one. Look at this. We have a negative times negative. So that's going to be a positive. Then we have a negative times a negative. So I'm going to draw the fraction line, and let's put a positive for that one also. Now we're going to go back over and do the numbers. What is 2 times 3? That's going to be a 6. What is 4 times 8? And that is going to be a 32. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 32. How many times here? 16. Very good. I just noticed I made a mistake. Hopefully you caught it. So let's review on the signs. I think me jumping back and forth, I missed what I was even talking about. So the negative negative gave me the positive. Negative negative gave me a positive. Let's check the signs here again. On this first one, I said negative times negative is a positive. I said negative times a positive, though, is a negative. And I did write it, but on my final answer, I did not write it there. So you got to make sure that you have the negative here. Now, we got to talk a little bit about the notation. So this will be something on your test. There's one problem like this on your test where you have to explain the notation and how you can write this in different ways. You need to realize that you could write 3 over negative 16, and this is equal to negative 3 over 16, and this is equal to negative 3 over 16, right? And this is equal to negative 3 over negative 16. Maybe this last one is the hardest, but you got to think about, what is a negative divided by a negative? Positive. What is a positive times a negative? Negative. So this still ends in a negative when you do the whole expression, I could say. This positive divided by a negative is a negative. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. Positive divided by a positive is a positive. Positive times a negative is a negative. So basically the final result is a negative, and 3 over 16 is always going to be the same decimal answer if you change it to a decimal. Okay, let's go to page 4. Page 4, we have negative 4 times 3 and 5 times 2. So what is a negative times a positive? What is a negative times a positive? Negative. What is a positive times a positive? Positive. Okay, what's 4 times 3? 12. What's 5 times 2? 10. Ends in a 2 and a 0. They're even, so we can divide by what? 2. So we're going to divide by 2 here. 2 goes into negative 12 how many times? Negative 6. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Can I reduce it any further? No, I cannot. So we're going to highlight this. Oh, how did that happen? Okay, so we're going to highlight this here. And let's move on to the next one. Pause the video if you need to copy. Okay, page 5. Let's look at page 5. Multiply across. What is a negative times a positive? Negative. What is 3 times 2? 6. What is a positive times positive? Positive. What is 6 times 7? 42. Ends in a 6. Oh, don't want to do that. Ends in a 6 and a 2. So it is an even number. What can I divide by? 2. 2 goes into negative 6 how many times? Negative 3. 2 goes into 42 how many times? 21. So we have negative 3 over 21. Now, these aren't even, but there is a number that can go into 3 and 21. So let me switch the color. What goes into 3 and what goes into 21? Think about it. And yep, it is 3. 3 goes into negative 3, negative 1 times. 3 goes into 21, 7 times. Whenever you hit having a negative 1 or a 1 over something, you will never find anything else to simplify it to. So this should be a red flag that you are done with simplifying. Pause the video if you need a copy, and then move on to page 6. Okay, page 6. We have 8 times 4, negative 7 times 3. What is 8 times 4? 32. What is negative 7 times 3? Negative 21. They don't end in even numbers, but is there something else that can go into it? So make a list: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you're having a hard time seeing. 1, yeah, it can go in, but it doesn't really help us. 2 can't go in. 3 can't go into 32. 4, can it go into 32? Yeah, but it can't go into 21. 5 can't go into it. 6 can't go into it. 7 can go into 21, but not into 32 evenly. 8 can go into 32, but not 21. And 9. You could keep on going with this and try 10, 11, 12, 13. But most of the time, when you just finish right here, it's pretty safe to say on low numbers that you're not going to have anything else go into it. So for now, I would recommend only going up to 9. This means that 32 over 21 is our answer. Okay, next one, page 7. So we have negative 2 times 3/4 times negative 3 over 5. Now, this will be on your test, so I would star this. You need to know how to multiply 3 terms, and sometimes you don't have this in your graphic organizer, but I want you to think about how you would do this if in your test you had something like this. So a whole number, a fraction, and a decimal. So for now, we're going to work on 2 fractions and a whole number. But something like this is what you'll need for the test. If you want to copy that down, I would strongly recommend it. But I'm going to erase it for now. Now let's focus on this one here. First thing I would do is write negative 2 over 1 for negative 2. So just make it over 1, and it's still the same thing as negative 2. Reason why that helps is now that we have the problem rewritten, I just need to multiply across, and then I will be done and have my answer. So we're going to take this slow. I'm going to erase the second arrows because we're only going to do the first 2 and then bring this negative 3 over 5 down. I can actually just bring it down now. Okay, so we're not touching this one yet. What is a negative times a positive? A negative. What is 2 times 3? 6. What is 1 times 4? 4. Don't even worry about reducing yet. Do it at the very end. What is a negative times a negative? Positive. What is 6 times 3? 18. What is a positive times a positive? Positive. What is 4 times 5? 20. So now looking at the answer, what is a positive divided by a positive? It is positive, right? So you know the answer will be positive. Can you reduce the fraction though? So I'm going to take these off. 18 over 20. Can you reduce this? Well, it ends in an 8 and a 0, so is it even? Yes. So I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. 2 goes in 18 9 times. 2 goes into 20 10 times. 9 over 10 is going to be your answer. And this is another trick, since it is only, the 9 is only 1 less than the 10, you know you can't even simplify it. So only 1 can go into 9 and 10. Pause the video if you need to copy it, and then move on. Okay, page 8. Page 8 is like page 7. I'm going to leave this one for you because it is important for the test that you understand how to do this one. So try this and then check with someone to make sure that you get the right answer. Remember, you want to reformat this to where you write whole numbers as over 1. So I'll help you out with this hint of how to rewrite it. Okay, go to page 9. Page 9, more practice of the same thing. I want you to work on that. Page 10, more practice. I want you to work on that. Now, something like page 11, it may help if you first multiply and then add. So you're changing this to an improper fraction, then you're just multiplying across. So you should have 12 plus 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15 over 4. And now all you have to do is multiply the 2 times negative 8 times negative 1 over 4. And at this point, nothing's new. So I'm going to let you finish off on this one. Make sure you do these two first. Bring this one down, then do it again, so that way you get it right. So I'm going to erase these arrows because you don't want to hit those arrows yet. Okay, and page 12 is blank in case we want to add anything for the problems. Okay, let's go to decimals. So we are now on multiplying decimals. So if you need to rewind for any of those problems that you missed for multiplying fractions, please do so. And then continue on to page 1 for decimals. Now for page 1, we have 3.78 times 5.6 versus the same problem, but it's a little bit different. And let's talk about how this is different. So basically, we're going to multiply this out. 6 times 8 is 48, right? 6 times 7 is 42. 42 plus 4 is 46. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 4, 22. And we're going to put a placeholder. Now I'm going to erase these arrows. And we're going to do 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 4, 39. And 5 times 3 is 15 plus 3, 18. And add it together. Now this is the part that may be a little bit new to you, maybe not actually, but it's when we're getting into the positive and negatives that will be new, but this will be kind of review. So this is 3 plus 8 is going to be 11 and 2. Alright, now I'm going to erase these arrows one more time because I want to look at how many numbers there are to the right of the decimal. So there's the decimal, there are 2 here, there's the decimal, there are 3 here. This tells us I want to move the decimal from the right to the left 1, 2, 3 times and put a decimal point here. Now this part is very crucial because if you forget the rule for the decimal point, it would help you to estimate. So what is 3.78 rounded? 4. What is 5.6 rounded? 6. So I'm looking for 4 times 6 is 24. So my answer here should be around 24. Where can I put the decimal spot to where it's around 24? So let's say I didn't know to move it 3 times and you're on your test and you're wondering, where do I put that decimal point? Well, here it would be way too big of a number. Here, still too big. Here, it would be 211.68. No. Here it would be 21.168. That's much closer to 24. So I'm comparing it to my estimate this entire time. And this one would be way too small at 2.1168, right? So if you forget the rule to count how many there are and move it that many, 1, 2, 3, please at least estimate it. And then that will tell you your correct answer. Because this is the only place I could put that decimal and it's close to 24. On this one, basically you would add a placeholder here. And we have this versus because it's the same numbers, but we want to see if we'll get a different answer. So I get 0, 0, 0, right? Placeholder, 6 times 8 is 48. 42 here plus 4 is 46. 18 plus the 4 is going to be 22. Placeholder, placeholder. So now we have to have 2 placeholders because we're already at the 5. And it has to line up here. What's 5 times 8? 40. Carry a 4. 5 times 7, 35 plus 4, 39. 5 times 3, 15 plus the 3, 18. Add it up. 0, 8, 6, 11, 10, 11, 1. Now, let's estimate. So I'm not going to do the rule. Let's say we forgot the rule. 3.78 is 4. 5.6 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24, right? Oh, did I mess up somewhere? 10, 11, 11. I don't know where I messed up. Okay. Let's see where I messed up. Because what should happen is I should get the same numbers. I'm going to pause the video and then check my answers, and we'll see where I messed up here. Okay, let's see. Did I keep on recording? Yeah. All right. So it looked like the numbers were all fine. It was just silly carrying mistake. So, but we know that the answers are going to be the same. What's different and what we're comparing right now is that basically after the decimal point, there are now 4 spots. So since there are 4 spots, I would move it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and I would still get 21.168, 21.168 here. So it just changes how many decimal spots you need to move if you put a 0. Likewise, I could have done 3.78 times 0.065, and I would have gotten the same one, 5.600. I would have got the same answers, but now I would move it over 5 times instead. Okay, let's go to page 2 now. Does the decimal line up when multiplying? So no, it does not. And you know that from page 1. How do you find out where the decimal goes? So how do you find out where the decimal goes? I'll leave this for you to answer. If you don't know that yet, go back to page 1 and see what we were talking about. Page 3, I simplified it a little bit. All you need to know is negative times negative is positive, and negative times positive is a negative, positive times positive is a positive, and positive times a negative is a negative. For page 4, we're going to multiply the 6 times 4. This is 24. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 2, 38. 6 times 2 is 12 plus the 3 is going to be 15. Placeholder, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 6 is 24 plus the 1, 25. Oh, 25. So carry your 2. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2, 10. Placeholder, placeholder. 1 times 4 is 4, 6, and 2. Add it up. 4, 14, 10, 14, 15. 2, 6, 8. 1 plus 2, 3. Now let's look at how many decimals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move it over 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make sure that we are right in our answer. What is this about? About 3 when you round it. What is this one? It would fall down, so it would be about 1. What's 3 times 1? 3. Is this about 3? Yep. So it's 3.85. So we know we put the decimal in the correct spot. Now, if you're wondering why it's so far up, though, and you would say, well, this rounds to about 4. Remember that we rounded this 1.46 down, and we rounded this one up, so it's not going to be exact. The estimate just knows that it's going to be around 3. So when they're bigger numbers, like how this one was on page 1, this was 24, and we knew it was 21, it's because they're bigger numbers that it doesn't seem as wide of a spread. Okay, let's go to page 5. We have a negative times a negative is a positive, right? So this one is a positive. Let's go big. Estimate. Okay, so we have negative 3.64. That's negative 4. And then we have negative 2.46. That would be times negative 3, right? What is a negative times a negative? So it is a positive. Positive what? Positive 12, right? So we're looking for something around positive 12. Now, oh, I didn't write the negative here for this one, so let's put negative, negative. So we know that this is going to be a positive answer for sure. Now, all you need to do is practice on multiplying. So I'll leave this one for you to try out. So pause the video, try multiplying this one out. Next one, negative 4 times 0.8. So what is a negative times a positive? It is going to be a negative. What is 4 times 8? Okay, so that's going to be 32, right? So I'm showing you a way to estimate it really quick. So estimate negative 4. Oh, it's still negative 4. What is 0.8? What would it round off to? It would round off to 1. So we need something around negative 4. So now where would I put the decimal point? Here are your three choices. So choice 1, 2, or 3. So what would you say is your answer, A, B, or C? Where would you put that decimal point? So think about your answer. Give you a little time. Okay, now here's your hint. Think about which decimal point would make it close to -4. If I put it here at A, this would be -0.32. That is below 1, so it can't be A. So let's erase A. If I put C, that would be at -32, right? So this would be -32. That's way above -4. So your answer has to be B. Your decimal point should be right there. So this is how estimation helps you, rather than always having to do the long term for things that should be easier. So if you multiply this, right, we could put the 0.0 if you want the placeholder. You don't have to do it the long way. Okay, so let's highlight your final answer. Please copy down your estimate. Okay, don't let the whole page just be -3.2. You need something to study from. Okay, page 7. I'll leave this one to you. I want you to estimate as well. So on this one, you're going to estimate 3.2 is about 3, -2.4 is about what, and then what does that equal? And see if you can find out what is the exact. So you're going to do 3.2, 2.4, and make sure after you finish multiplying this out, you write it with a negative or positive on the answer. Okay, so this was a -2.4 that you're multiplying by. I wouldn't put the parentheses. That kind of confuses it. So solve this and then say whether your answer is negative or positive. Okay, page 8, more practice. You can work that one out. Page 9, -3.64 times 0.5. Same thing, estimate, put the sign. Let's see what's next. Let's go to page 10. So page 10 has more practice on multiplying with 3 terms. So we're going to do the same thing where we multiplied this one first, bring this down, then multiply those two. So we'll have an answer for that, and then multiply to get our third answer. Okay, so we have, let's estimate first. What is 2 times 6.4 is about 6. 0.5, 0.5, let's estimate it as 1. 2 times 6 times 1, so you should get something like 12. Okay, so we're thinking 12 should be what we're looking for when we actually work it out. So we're going to write 6.4, 2, multiply, 8, 12, right? Where does the decimal go? Okay, well, if you round this would be about 6 times 2 would be about 12. So if I put it here, 1.28, too low. Put it here, 12.8, that sounds about right. Here, way too big, 128. Decimal has to go here. The actual rule, there's one spot to the right, so you move it over 1 time. So now that you have 12.8, don't want that. Now that you have 12.8, you're going to multiply by the 0.5. 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is going to be 40. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4 is going to be 14. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. Placeholder, well, we don't need the placeholder because we already have, it's just going to be zeros. So this one we get to skip it because 0 times all this will just be zeros. How many times should I move it over? 1, 2. So 6.40. Oh, why is it that this and this, our estimate is off? So I'm glad I showed this because remember we had it at 12 and then we said this was about 1, right? But this is actually more of a half. So you have to be cautious of this estimation if you always just round. So when you hit something like 0.5, if it was like 0.8, then we would have been closer to the answer of 12. But since it's 0.5, we're cutting this in half. which is why we're at 6.4. So while estimation is a good tool, it only is a starting point, and just because you get something like this, wonder if it's because you have such a small fraction here that it was just division and it's going to cut this number down. So sometimes just the rounding will skew your answer. Try page 11, and page 12 we have blank. Okay, so finish the rest of that video then. Try all of those problems. Thanks.